Hello, teacher. Hello, everyone. My name is Inga. And now I would like to practice my English speed reading with the lesson one, the formula of the source of life. The phone sign is 30 and speed is number 10. Now let's start. Lesson one, the formula of the source of life. Currently, our society is being governed by three perspectives. The first perspective is the scientific perspective. The second is the religious and belief perspective. And the third is the perspective of morality or principles. Regardless of where we live in the world, we are currently being influenced by these perspectives. And one of the laws that influences us greatly is the law of causal and effect, and the law of causal conditions interaction. If we imagine our current life is our current status without simply the outcome of the result in the past. There is a formula called the formula of the source of life. What is this formula? Let's find out. The formula for desired outcomes. Good cause plus favorable conditions equal desired outcome. Therefore, if we want to create a desired future, shouldn't we focus on creating the good cause right in this present moment? This knowledge, religions, and beliefs and science and morality or principles all lead to one statement. We need to understand the root cause of a person's life through these three perspectives to be considered to have a thorough understanding of the cause. When standing under the scientific perspective, why do I have this result today? If standing under the religious and belief perspective, why do I have this result today? If understanding the perspective of morality or principles, why do I have this result today? Please let's thoroughly understand the cause from the scientific perspective to discuss the source of life of a person. Religions and belief, morality or principles, science to the formula of the source of life. We take a piece of paper and write down the word result at the bottom and circle it. Then draw an arrow leading to the result. If we had to choose one word that directly represents the result of life today that affects our life results, it would be choice. It supposed to give us the message that choice directly affects the results of our lives today. But let's reflect. Is it true that the chain of choices we made in the past determines the result of our life today? When we reflect, now I would like to move the speed 11. Okay. But let's reflect. Is it true that the chain of choices we made in the past determines the results of our life today? When we reflect, we often grant ourselves the right to choose the good things in life. However, when it's come to unpleasant things, the tendency of our inner self is to attribute the choice to others. If we contemplate even the desirable and undesirable situation in life are owing to our own choices, and we will understand that the source of life originates from ourselves. Therefore, the source of life originates from me, but it is not my fault. Wait, why is this not my fault? It is because we didn't know any better. If our awareness had been better, we would not have made that choice. At that time, our awareness was only at that level, which led to that choice. Therefore, the choice we made at that exact moment was correct. It leads to a famous saying, if you want to change circumstances, change your personality. This explains that a person repeatedly creates the same circumstances due to their form personality. However, we do not know what kind of personality is suitable for a good outcome. So if we focus on changing personality, it is not yet the root cause. This is because no specific personality trait dictates that a person's life will be good. Researchers studying wealthy people found that one person became rich in one way and another in a different way. They had different personalities. Therefore, any personality can potentially lead to wealth, but any personality can also lead to poverty. Ultimately, people realize that even if they changed their personality, they would know which one was appropriate. Thus, focusing on changing personality is not the root cause, and the result will still repeat. But if you don't change your personality, you don't change the results. Yet focusing on changing personality doesn't work because it isn't the root cause. The experts informs us that a person's habit create their personality. After this realization, they started asking us to focus on changing habits. Good habits will lead to a good personality, resulting in good choices. After some time, people discovered that changing habits changes personality, and changing personality changes the result. However, they realized that habits are also not the root cause. They investigated further and found that a person's action determine their habits. So they say that just good actions will lead to good habits leads to good personality, and good personality will lead to a good destiny or good life result. Following this, they tried to manage people's action, but they discovered that actions still repeat the old patterns, and changing a person's action is very difficult. They succeeded in changing the action, but focusing on changing action did not last. Eventually, experts provide us with the insight that a person's thoughts determine their action. They told us that good thoughts will create good action, good actions will result in good habit will lead to good personality, then which then leads to the final result or choice. Thus, the saying goes, so thought driven action, so an action with habit, so habit with personality, so personality with a destiny. The entire world focus on how to cultivate a good mindset and good thoughts. However, through deeper research over time, people discover that even when they try to control their thoughts, negative thoughts still repeatedly emerge in their life. These thoughts were always present in their minds. They began to investigate what determines a person's thoughts. If focusing on thoughts, a person continues to repeat negative thoughts in life. The question is raised, what shapes a person's thoughts? High-level mentors and experts point out to us that it is their belief that shape their thoughts. Pre-beliefs. Essentially, humans always hold a belief about something. This belief can be counter to their desire or aligned with their desire. This is also known as a positive or negative belief. For example, someone says, I keep trying to lose weight, but I can't lose any. I'm so discouraged. I keep trying, but it doesn't work. Normally, our thinking assesses that they lack their belief in their ability to lose weight. However, the deeper truth is that the person holds the belief that they are very fat and will never be able to become thin. Whatever belief a person holds, their life results will form accordingly. This is because belief directly affects their choices, and whatever belief is held, that results manifest. If we hold a belief that we cannot do something, the result is that we cannot do it. Human belief does not have a 99% concept. Belief is 100% conviction that you hold the belief. The difference lies only in the direction of that belief, whether it aligns with or goes against the desire. If humans knew this knowledge, it would be wonderful. So, if someone believes, I am not beautiful no matter what I do, I'm not beautiful, the result is that the person believes they are ugly, so nothing they do makes them beautiful. Therefore, some people imitate others and go for nose job, but their inner belief is that they are an ugly person getting a nose job, which sometimes results in them damaging their nose. Conversely, a person who already believes they are beautiful, when they get a uh, procedure, it makes them even more beautiful. People who hold the belief that they are happy become happier when they get married. Conversely, if we hold the belief that we are mirrourable, then whoever we marry, we will remain mirrourable. There was a story about a woman whose husband was launching a book. He was a famous self-development trainer, a reporter. Instead of interviewing him, played a top cheat and turned to his wife asking, Your husband is very famous self-development trainer, and he has helped many people change their life and become happy. But honestly, has he brought happiness to you? The woman answered immediately, no. Everyone around was alarmed, wondering why she said that, and if it would damage her husband's reputation. Another reporter pressed on, asking, "So has your husband truly brought you a happy life result?" And she said no. Then another person skillfully asked a more open-ended question. The woman smiled and replied, "How can a man bring happiness to a woman? A woman must have happiness on her own, and only then can a man bring her more happiness. He hasn't brought me happiness, but I must be a happy person, and he is just the one who brings me more happiness." Internally, we lacked the belief that others love us. We don't believe our husband or children love us, so we strive and demand their love. And what is the resulting outcome? People do not love us because internally we lack that belief, so we don't see the result externally. Therefore, we only need to change our inner belief system to change the results. Here is a concept. We need to grasp, grasp the inner belief virus, the conscious desire. For example, when a woman or man gets married, they expect the marriage to be harmonious and happy. However, deep down, some people's inner belief does not include harmonious and happy marriage. So the conscious desire is for harmonious and happy marriage. But if the inner belief contradicts this desire, the result is that the inner belief always triumphs over the conscious desire. If the inner belief and the conscious desire are undefined, life becomes wonderful. The conscious desire usually aims for good things. For example, a happy marriage, success in work, and good relationship with people. Almost everyone wishes for positive outcomes. If the conscious desire is undefined, with the inner belief, human life is wonderful. Humans struggle at this point between thoughts and beliefs. This is a crucial gateway of the brain or mindset and the person's inner subconscious, which often conflict with each other. Ultimately, the inner self wins. Humans try to use their conscious mindset to change the inner self, and science often favors this approach. If science was entirely correct, the life of people who follow science would all be wonderful. However, the scientific perspective shows us that our inner beliefs are what determines our results. Therefore, we must change the belief system to change results. Merely thinking about it externally will not change the results. However, the belief is also not the root cause. So changing belief doesn't suffice. We don't know why we chose a certain person. So we raise the next question: what determines a person's belief? This is a person's mental image. All the six mental images have momentum. It determines their beliefs. The six mental images in our mind determine our beliefs, which determine the results of our lives. For mental image, let's co-orientate on a small exercise. Choose two people closer to us, two people we feel most familiar with. Then, without thinking, write their names vertically on both sides. Then instantly choose 5 words that evoke the mental image of our feelings and emotions about that person. Because we have that sense of mental image in our head, it projects the results of our lives externally. We see our father as handsome, funny, or gentle, but sometimes other people might not see his gentleness. They might even see him as strict. Yet we see him as gentle in our eyes. Even when he sleeps, we might perceive him as diligent. Why? We assume he must be tired, which is why he is sleeping. But if this is a mental image we hold of our father is laziness, then even when he is working, we might say, "Ah, look at that lazy attitude." The results of our external life are projected from the sets of mental images in our mind. 5. The story of the pen. Let's borrow this story from Gus Michael Roach. Imagine we are holding an object we frequently use, perhaps a pen or a writing tool. Now consider another creature, a very intelligent animal living in our house, a puppy. When we say this, we call it a pen or writing instrument because we use it to write. But when the puppy encounters this object, it chews on it. The puppy's action of chewing makes us think the puppy perceives it as this object as a bone or toy, which is why it chews. If the puppy perceived this as a pen, it will use it to write. This means we see this object and call it a pen because we visualize using it to write. What about the puppy? It proceeds to gnaw and chew on it. It perceives this as a toy or a bone. Who is right in our opinion? The puppy perceives this as a bone or toy, and we perceive this as a pen or writing instrument. Both are correct. Now let's put that object in the room. No one is there, neither us nor the puppy. If no one is here, what is this object? It is nothing at all. It's not that it doesn't exist, because there is no subject perceiving it, no subject cognizing it, no subject feeling it at that moment, it is nothing. Being nothing does not mean it doesn't exist. 6. All things have the nature of emptiness. All things have the nature of emptiness or potentiality. It is nothing when there is no subject perceiving it. So what it is created by the subject that cognizes it and cognizes it, and the subject that perceives it. Now we step in and we look at that object. At that moment, it is a pen. But if a dog step in, it will perceive it as a toy or a bone. If we and the puppy step in at the same time, for us it's a pen, and for the puppy it's a bone. So a specific question arises: what determines the nature of that object? It is determined by the external nature affecting us, or it is reflected from within us to the outside. We find that the nature of this object is determined by what is within us, by the set of mental images in our mind that dictates what this object is. The set of mental images in our mind project outward to manifest that reality. Earlier we said our father as a gentle person. Essentially, the father is neither is gentle nor anyone, but because we have that mental images inside, it project outward. Our father being gentle, delusion, or complaining is based on our cognition of him. It is because we hold those sets of mental images about our father that we perceive him that way. The mental images within a person determine the results and reflect their external life reality. Therefore, the world they perceive is based on the mental images they hold. So if we want to change the external world, in other words, if we want to change our destiny according to the scientific perspective, changing the mental image changes destiny. Changing the mental image changes destiny. Changing the mental image changes destiny. The tendency of our inner psychological life is very interesting. No longer people live together if a person does not nurture and enlarge the positive mental images they hold about their loved ones, the negative images will manifest. This is a miraculous phenomenon of the principle of light and darkness. The principle of light states that the closer we live to someone, if we don't enlarge the positive images we have of them, by default, the unpleasant images will emerge in our mind. That is why when we first meet someone, we generally hold positive mental images of each other, but no longer we'll live together if we fail to enlarge the positive images of the other person. The unpleasant images will manifest. Thus, undesirable realities often occurs in social relationships, leading to thoughts like my neighbor's wife is better, or my neighbor's child is better than mine. Someone else's husband is better. My husband is not good. Other people's wife are beautiful, others people's wife are good. Why? Because we only meet the neighbor's husband or wife briefly and we see the beautiful image. But our husband or wife is around all the time, and because we don't know how to enlarge the positive images, we see the poor images. We only need to change the image toward the direction we desire to orient our image toward the what we want. If we hold good and beautiful images, with the belief system will automatically change, and the result will change in an instant. Therefore, if a person can maintain beautiful images of our loved ones, especially positive images of people, we change our entire fate conditions regarding people. Maintaining a good image of our health, maintaining a good images of social relationship, maintaining a good image of our health, ourselves and our inner self, maintaining a good images of our finance, changing the mental images changes destiny. We only need to have one simple realization. According to the scientific perspective, the source of life originates from the mental images in our mind. We only need to remember one thing. The source of mental images in our mind determine the results of our lives today. This leads to profound saying, if one fully grasps it, every matter should begin with the result. Every matter should begin with the results, because the simplest way to achieve anything we are about to do is to start from the result. For example, why is it so difficult for a person married to be happy? Because we do not start the marriage by defining the result of the marriage. The results we have are often based on observing those around us. Our mind holds the image of a bad marriage result. So when we start, we already have that result. All human endeavors start from the result. The result in a person's mind, the mental image in a person's mind, is the result of external reality. When the destination is seen, there is no need to rest. If the destination is unseen, why rest? When we start with the result, our journey automatically changes. It is like knowing where we are going. No matter the means of transport, we can get there. But if we don't know where our destination is, even if we are equipped with the most modern facilities, we cannot reach the destination. Thus, every matter should begin with the result. The result is formed from the mental images in our mind. Therefore, simply changing the mental image changes destiny. When the image is clear, our life becomes clear. Hence, every matter begins with the result. So we can conclude that according to the scientific perspective at this moment, the series of mental images in our mind determine the results of our lives. Now the question is raised that what determines the mental image in our images in our mind? This is because those images appear spontaneously in our heads. What we hear, see, say, and know determines the mental images in our mind. It is precisely what we hear, what we see, what we say, and what we know that determine our mental images. And what we are struggling with most often is the knowing that is detrimental to the future. Probably the knowing regarding merit is highly detrimental to the mental images we hold. Most of the images are negative. The knowing regarding child education gives us images that are not very positive. The knowing about this life, knowing about people give us disadvantages, images of people. The knowing we have about careers and business and life makes things increasingly adores, especially knowing about health. This knowing has influenced us from birth until now, because according to the scientific perspective, we cannot say about the time before birth. So from the moment we are born until now, what we know, what we see, and what we say, and what we hear have influenced our mental images. If we live in a tribe, a village, or a lineage where the average lifespan of people is between 120, 160 years, would we feel undiscreted if we were 60 years old? Or would we still feel like we are in an early youth? What we know about health, what we hear about health, what we see about health, what we say about health is different from those who live in a village or a lineage where the average lifespan is 60 or 70 years. In the later case, people around 60 years old are mostly winding down. If we were 60 then, wouldn't we feel like we were about to go close to death? If we live in a land where the average monthly income of the adults is around 1 million USD, how would we feel today if our income were 200 million Vietnam dong? How would we feel? So when we hear well, saying no determines our mental images, but if the entire lineage struggles just to afford food and the high income anyone has is 20 million or 30 million Vietnam dong, how would we feel with an income of 200 million Vietnam dong? Wonderful, right? If only one star appears in the sky in the future, constellations of stars will appear. Therefore, in society, when someone achieves something wonderful and excels, it will lead to a chain of stars emerging. What people hear, see, say, and know will gradually change accordingly, and we will change the image of society. At this time, achieving peace and joy is simpler than being angry. In the future, someone will say that comprehensive wealth is simpler than poverty. Gradually, what people hear, see, say, and know will change, and society will undergo a massive shift. If only a few people thoroughly understand life, society will also understand life, because what he heard, seen, spoken, and known is constantly changing. There is a Japanese story about researchers studying in the behavior of very intelligent monkeys. The monkeys love sweet potatoes, so scientists gave them sweet potatoes, but first buried them in sand to observe their reaction. The monkeys liked them, but found the sand unpleasant. Yet they still had to eat. One beautiful day, a female monkey accidentally dropped her sweet potato into the water. She picked it up and ate it. Finding it delicious from then on, she knew to wash the potato before eating. She taught her father, mother, and sibling, and gradually her family taught the surrounding families. Scientists mapped every monkey that learned the washing method. When the 100th monkey was reached, something surprising happened. That monkey had not been in contact with any other monkey and had never been taught how to wash the potato. But when given the potato, it spontaneously went to find water and wash it. Observing all monkeys from the 101st onward, they gradually all knew how to do it. The phenomenon even spread to other islands, despite the geographical distance, whereas monkeys could not possibly travel between islands. Yet the monkeys there also knew how to wash the potato. A person's life and society will continuously transform when we change what we hear, see, say, and know, and change the mental image of our future. This alignment of conditions will have others change the future as well. Therefore, when living in a family, we are determined to transform ourselves first. Over time, as our mental images change regarding ourselves and those around us, the family automatically changes too. Thus, there is no need to seek change in others. Just focus on changing ourselves. This means changing our mental images about ourselves and our loved ones. It means changing our knowing about ourselves, our knowing about humanity, and our knowing about the law of causal conditions and results. This is how we change the image, and subsequently we change what we say. The formula for changing the image is control what you hear and see, change what you say and know. Then we change destiny. First we change the knowing, then change the saying, and control the hearing and seeing, gradually changing the mental images. Image changes destiny. That's the end. Yeah. Thank you very much.